Hello legal hustlers. In this video we will delve into the Act's impact on Indian political participation, and the evolution of administrative structures, and the gradual shift towards limited self-governance. By gaining valuable insights into the complexities and implications of the Indian Councils Act of 1861. Introduction. The Indian Councils Act of 1861 was a significant piece of legislation passed by the British government in India. It was an attempt to reform the governance system in India and promote greater participation of Indians in the administration. The Act marked the beginning of a new era in Indian political history. Salient features. The Act established a new legislative council in India, called the Imperial Legislative Council. The council consisted of both elected and nominated members, with the majority of members being nominated by the British government. The council was empowered to make laws for the whole of India, except for the provinces which had their own legislative councils. Key provisions. The Indian Councils Act of 1861 created legislative councils at the central and provincial levels. It allowed for the appointment of Indians to these councils and gave them the right to participate in the legislative process. The Act also introduced a system of indirect elections and expanded the powers of the Governor-General's Executive Council. Impact. The Act marked a significant shift in the British government's attitude towards Indian representation in governance. The establishment of the Imperial Legislative Council paved the way for further reforms, including the Indian Councils Act of 1892 and the Government of India Act of 1919. The Act also had a significant impact on the Indian nationalist movement, as it provided a platform for Indians to voice their concerns and demands. Criticism. The Act was criticized by Indian nationalists for not providing enough representation to Indians in the Legislative Council. The majority of the members of the council were still nominated by the British government, and the elected members had limited powers. The Act was seen as a half-hearted attempt at reform, and the demand for greater Indian representation in governance continued to grow. Significance. The Indian Councils Act of 1861 was a significant milestone in the history of Indian governance. It marked the beginning of a new era of political participation for Indians, although it fell short of their expectations. The Act paved the way for further reforms and set the stage for the eventual transfer of power from the British to the Indian government. Legacy. The legacy of the Indian Councils Act of 1861 can still be seen in India's governance system today. The Act paved the way for the establishment of a representative democracy in India, which is now the world's largest. The Act also had a significant impact on the Indian nationalist movement, which eventually led to India's independence from British rule. Conclusion. The Indian Councils Act of 1861 was a watershed moment in India's political history. It marked the beginning of a new era of representative government and paved the way for greater Indian participation in the lawmaking process. While it was criticized for not going far enough, the Act was a significant step forward in India's struggle for self-rule and had far-reaching consequences for the country's future political development. Thank you for watching. We're thrilled to have you here and hope that you find our content informative, engaging, and entertaining. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to join us for further updates.